Right. So, family, whatever. I think I'm gonna talk more about the agency because this thing is something which is, um, yeah, I think a lot more people are gonna resonate themselves with agency model because it's easier to start, easier to begin. Actually, you know what? I think the one thing I kind of thought about is that I think back then, back in the day when there was no YouTube and all this fancy stuff and all this Amen Gadsby and all this, hype around agency model of SMMA, web design, and basic agency model, I think, agencies existed, but the way agencies used to appear in the real world, they wasn't like because of some YouTuber making millions of dollars and like 16-year-old people like you and I just started their own agencies. It was a little different story. The way it used to happen, I mean, it's very different for every agency out there. Every business owner has its own story, but generally, you learn some kind of skill from internet or from books or something like that. Usually self-taught, usually, or very few who learned in uni. Computer science, basically. I'm talking about web design in my case. All right, so it's easier for me to resonate with this thing. So let me explain. So you learn how to make websites somehow, wherefore, no matter how, no one cares. You somehow dealt with getting into some kind of coding company, coding job, right? So and you grew, and you basically get to a certain level of seniority, right? So 5 6 7 years in some kind of company. You're really good at code, and you basically dropped out, quit your job for some magical reasons. And usually it used to happen with a co-worker in that company you used to work with, and then you 2 or 3 guys come in together and start an agency of something of your own, right? So they used to usually usually it's not like a day-to-day worker all of a sudden decides to become a millionaire and like starts an agency. Not quite a little bit like that. There's always something inside of an entrepreneur not letting him to work until his last breath for someone else. Obviously I'm very simplifying it. Obviously I'm very making it look easy. All of these metrics which are un how to say that, unmeasurable, like you can't see what is inside of a person's mind, right? His vision, his feelings, his traumas. So basically, yeah, I'm not gonna talk about these things, but basically this is how it used to happen back in the day. So the people who used to start the agencies wasn't a beginners, wasn't the beginner editors, the beginner web designers. But the thing is, I'm a junior developer. I'm not a senior developer, but I have an agency and I'm trying to do something like that. Why am I telling that? Well, I just made some brainstorming in it because we have a startup on a side which we're building with another team, and I'm also founder over there. And in a startup world, maybe because it's a little harder than agency model, you have to deal with investors and you have to be a lot more technical, a lot more advanced in this technical aspect of what you're doing, so in coding aspect basically. So yeah, I mean, when I thought about like the startup world, I was going to the grocery store and I was thinking about the startup thing, and all of a sudden I kind of like it hit my mind, whatever. So startup, I'm sorry, agency. Yeah, I mean, it's a little more complex than I thought, obviously. Or it's either me overcomplicating things, or it's either things are really actually getting more messy. because of this issue with time zones, right? So you hire appointment setters that if they're working remotely, they have their own time zones. You have your own time zone. So also your co-founder has its own different time zone, 4 hour difference than your ones. Um, Shish. That's all details which are probably not interesting for you, but they are real when you start to work, when you start to implement, doing some stuff. When your client, which is living in Los Angeles in United States, is like 9 hour difference with your time zone, these differences are freaking real. Like it is a pain, and you know, like it's I mean, it's a very complex issue to solve, to have a meeting 9 p.m. your time and 9 a.m. his time. Like I don't know who's willing to do that. Maybe once, for maybe once, okay, but if you have to face this issue constantly, then it becomes a real problem, right? uh yeah, so I don't know what to do with this. Like this is issue I faced. I don't know how to solve it yet. What else do we got? What else do we got? I'm trying to just tell the story from top of my mind. I don't want to follow the script. I don't, because that makes me a little less authentic. I want to be real. I want to be myself. I want to tell jokes. I want to, yeah. What else? Agency. Okay, so I think we so far our appointment setters who we have hired before, so we had like 2 guys on a team already. I think they're getting into game slowly but surely. So they solved their own, personal problems. One of them have been on the camping, another one had another issues. So slowly but surely, they watched the training videos which we sent them. I think they have gone through the docs which we sent them, and tomorrow we're gonna have a meetings with them, and basically explaining all the other details, like scripts, like accounts, like, yeah, basically answering all of their questions and providing extra value. And if my co-founder has more docs and information to share, he's gonna be doing that. Me, on the other hand, so he is handling this appointment setter stuff. Basically, he's handling the hiring the new appointment setters and dealing with the ones which we already have. To a certain degree, I'm the one who's providing. So when you open an account as appointment setter, you have to make a logo, so profile picture. I provided these photos of mine, and you have to upload some posts and aka videos, which I already provided. Okay, so and now the only single issue which has lost is to these posts are photos, but we also need some reels. I mean reels, okay, videos on Instagram. And for that we need a video editor, and that's why I reach out to around 30 video editors today. Before, I don't know, like 20 minutes before. This thing of video editors is really like, freaking me out. Like, I'm kind of starting to today was like a last drop of my patience. Like I reach out to 100 people before, that, and from these 100 people we didn't close anyone. So we had like some people coming in but not staying long enough to make really great content with us. And like, I think we had a lot of people who joined our team and then quit like 2 days after. Like I think like 5 or 6 people who said yes even after having a meeting, but then they changed their mind and something happened and then they quit. And today is like 11th of August 2024, and I still have 0 video editors for neither my agency or my startup. And today I just had it enough. and I said to myself, I'm gonna reach out to new leads, I'm gonna find new leads, I'm gonna find more people and reach out to another 100 people. And I hope, inshallah, this time we're gonna find not one but even two for both agency and startup. One design, one editor for each of these businesses is gonna be pretty much enough. Yeah, so for now we have only photos and profile pictures, not videos. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's that big of an issue, honestly. Even photos themselves, they're gonna provide enough credibility, I believe so. What else? What else? What else? What else? Okay. So yeah, I mean, on my side, basically, if the co-founder, my friend, is handling the appointment setters, I'm on the other hand trying to deal with web designers. Yeah. Um, okay. I mean, I was trying. You know, you you discussed something. Mm. Okay, I was discussing this thing with Hussein basically, and this web designers stuff, and yeah, I mean, he took this thing on to himself, right? So I'm gonna make a doc for web designers so they can start working. But then, we end up in a situation where, I still have some work to do, but when everything is on him and I'm like in between of these two people and I don't control the situation and I'm the one who's responsible, right? It's just nearly, the kind of situation I hate the most, when I'm the middleman. Like, some people enjoy that. I mean, if you have two really good relationships with two of these sites, when then maybe you can enjoy this stuff. But in my case, I did not. All right, so deadlines are coming closer and closer, and every time just asking your friend if job is done, and that's not something you want to do, because deep inside of mine, I know that even if it is hard, I know that I can do it. All right, so I can make a doc, I can find an answer for question, I can figure out the way how to solve an issue. And I think that applies to any one of you guys out there. We are motivated by a lot of these reels on the internet has saying us to do crazy shit, and we agree with them, and there is nothing wrong with that. But the problem is that, when we get into real world, we piss off, and it's a real world, and like, what I want to tell you is that that's okay, and that's not something you should be ashamed of. Like, I don't want to tell you that being a coward is okay, and stay in your comfort zone or something like that. I just want to tell you that you are not alone. Okay, so every one of us who grew up in this age of technology, 2006, 2008, 2000, whatever, no matter of your age, a lot of us consume content on the internet. A lot of us are inspired by a lot of these people on the internet, and by these motivational videos, and this is our drivers, right? um, and you know slowly but surely, I think a lot of us are gonna get to that point of what we see on social media. We try to replicate the people who have been building their mindsets, their wells, their credibility, their how to say that, their mentality for years in a row, non-stop. I don't know, with one choice like that, The problem is that we don't understand that one short reel on Instagram does not tell you the whole story. It shows you the certain period of their life or a certain result of certain project. Is it your fault? Is it my fault? Is it their fault? No, it's no one's fault. That's why I want to tell you. That's fine that you know, yeah. I think you get what I want to tell you. I couldn't explain you a little bit. It's hard to transform thoughts into words. But yeah, I know that you felt what I wanted to deliver and understood what I wanted to say. Peace out. I mean, basically, this is as much, I think, as I can deliver. Me personally, right now, I'm working on video editors, finding video editors, and web designers. So dealing with web designers in my agency and trying to find some video editors for content marketing. That's personally what I'm doing to scale the agency. And so far, we reach out to 30 people, video editors. And tomorrow I'm gonna start making this docs for web designers. And my friend, my co-founder, is dealing with appointment setters. He already have sent them their docs which they need. Tomorrow he's gonna have a final meeting before they're gonna start to reach out, I believe, inshallah. And probably tomorrow or one day after tomorrow, the appointment setters should technically start to reach out, inshallah. Me, on the other side, I'm gonna probably, if I'm gonna complete the doc tomorrow, then I'm gonna complete and we might start working on the website. So designers are gonna start to work on a website. Probably gonna continue reaching out to video editors up to maybe 100 people. Maybe I will hit it tomorrow, maybe just get closer. So basically, yeah, we're moving, we're making progress. Yeah.